Hey guys, welcome back to Forever After Reacts. Today I thought we would do something a little different. I saw this video in my recommendations and thought it'd be interesting to look at. These are the site, the actual channel is called Debunked, and I guess they just do a whole bunch of debunking about life. And these are the limits of human survival, myths debunked. So yeah, let's check it out.
Today, we're going to look at what scientists have worked out to be the very limits of our survival. How hot or cold can we go? Is the survival rule of 3 true? What's the longest we can live? If you think you know your breaking point, think again. However, we do not encourage anyone to attempt to match or beat these limits.
No, thank you.
I'm Stu, this is Debunked, where we sort the truths from the myths and the facts from the misconceptions. Let's start all the way down at the bottom of the scale.
How cold can we go?
I honestly don't even have the slightest clue of what this could be.
This is all down to our core temperature. Unfortunately, the human race isn't built for the cold. Having evolved in the hot climates of the African savanna, our bodies are designed to displace heat rather than retain it. So take away our cozy fires and thermal underwear, and what temperatures can we handle at the lower end of the gauge? Survival here is about protecting your core temperature. This usually sits at around 37 degrees Celsius, but when your body is cold and loses heat faster than it can make it, then your core temperature can start to reduce. If it drops as little as 2 degrees Celsius, then hypothermia will set in. This sequence of events usually follows. At 35 degrees Celsius, you will experience shivering and pale skin as your blood is diverted from your extremities. At 30 degrees Celsius, you'll fall unconscious.
That's kind of crazy to think about. Just a couple of degrees difference can make that big of a difference.
At 25 degrees Celsius, you'll go into cardiac arrest. By 24 degrees Celsius, you'll most likely be dead.
As with many of the body's limitations, however, there are exceptions to the rule, with some survivors going far beyond the norm. And this survival story changed medical history.
While skiing, Anna Bagenholm fell through a sheet of ice and was dragged underneath by a mountain stream. She became trapped under 8 inches of ice for around 80 minutes, causing
How? There's no way you live through that. How?
her core temperature to plummet all the way down to 13.7 degrees Celsius. Inevitably, Bagenholm experienced cardiac arrest, but she didn't die. Before the freezing temperature stopped her heart, the constant flow of ice water had already chilled the vital organs and specifically her brain to such an extent that the oxygen demand was significantly reduced, meaning they needed very little O2 to survive. Although Bagenholm was clinically dead for more than 2 hours, the low temperature preserved her brain and vital organs before her heart stopped beating, and so delayed her cells from dying. And incredibly, this allowed medical staff to revive her.
That's crazy. You got cold so fast that it actually saved you.
Not only did Bagenholm go on to recover, but the results of her survival story went on to change medical practices and introduce the use of therapeutic hypothermia, where the body is cooled down to a mild hypothermia as a technique to protect patients during open heart surgery, as well as victims of strokes, liver failure, and epileptic seizures.
I wonder how they do that, because the room couldn't be that cold, because if you're still going to be a doctor working and you're that cold, like I assume you'd be shaking and stuff, so I don't know if they just throw you in like a freaking ice chest or what.
13.7 degrees Celsius remains the coldest anyone has ever been and survived.
Though not quite to that extent, but a reduced temperature is exactly the condition you need for our next question.
How long can we hold our breath?
Most people find it tough to hold their breath for more than a minute, but as a rule of thumb, the limit for the majority of us will be around 3 minutes.
Do what?
Hold our breath.
Most people find it tough to hold their breath for more than a minute, but as a rule of thumb, the limit for the majority of us will be around 3 minutes.
I assume they would just straight pass out then, because there's no way that I could hold my breath for 3 minutes. No. How? No. That's crazy.
Much more than this, and you're dicing with danger. However, there is a specific technique that trained freedivers employ called static apnea, whereby you hold your breath face down in chilled water without moving. This method was employed by the current world record holder, Stephen Misford, achieving an impressive 11 minutes and 35 seconds. But this has since been superseded by a confirmed but unofficial record of 11 minutes and 54 seconds by Branko Petrovic. So, what's the science behind this technique? Termed the Mammalian diving reflex, when you submerge your face in cold water, outer blood vessels constrict. Blood is directed away from your extremities and toward your heart and brain. This reduces your heart rate and the rate at which oxygen is pumped around your body. In addition to this, trained breath holders, as they are called, hyperventilate prior to holding their breath. This is because your brain monitors the level of carbon dioxide in your blood. Rapid breathing purges your body of CO2 and delays your reflexive response to take a big gulp of air.
I mean, all that just sounds very painful in a lot of steps.
So is Petrovic's 11 minutes 54 seconds the limit of what the human body can be pushed to?
Physiologist Johan Anderson thinks not.
Elite breath hold divers expect the limit to be extended to about 15 minutes before record setting will level off.
Interestingly, you can nearly double your time by taking a breath of pure oxygen before, a record held by Alex Segura when he hit 24 minutes and 3 seconds in 2016.
But going back to temperatures,
How much heat can we handle?
In comparison to the cold,
I mean, they're still going to go off body temperature. I mean, still, as soon as you're pushing like 105, 106, I would assume you'd be croaking.
humans, having evolved in them, are pretty well adapted to surviving hot climates, with insane feats like the Badwater Ultramarathon taking place every year. This 135-mile, 217-kilometer race takes place in California's Death Valley, in temperatures of 53 degrees Celsius, 127.4
I've never in my life seen a temperature that high. I live in West Virginia. Does not get that high at all. Never ever.
Fahrenheit. That's only just shy of the hottest temperature ever recorded on Earth in the same place. The amount of external heat you can endure very much depends on your individual physiology, exertion, and hydration, among other factors. But ultimately, the general consensus is that a very humid 60 degrees Celsius, 140 degrees Fahrenheit, is the limit of our survival. The humidity plays a part as it slows or stops your sweat from evaporating away, making you even hotter. Within 10 minutes of being in this environment, your core temperature could be raised to 40 degrees Celsius, 104 degrees Fahrenheit, or above, resulting in severe hypothermia. Your organs will start to shut down, and if untreated, you'll be dead. However, the highest recorded core temperature was that of Willie Jones, who was admitted to hospital during an Atlanta heatwave, with a body temperature of 46.5 degrees Celsius, 115.7 degrees Fahrenheit. He spent 24 days in hospital, and incredibly, he survived.
Oh my
the environmental temperature dictates the answer to our next question.
How long
I don't even. I said 5 or 6. That was 10 degrees higher. 10 degrees higher of a body temperature.
can we go without water?
This varies dramatically depending on the scenario we put ourselves in. If we were doing some pretty strenuous exercise on a very hot and sunny day, then you could be losing 1.5 litres of water each hour. If you don't rehydrate, your blood volume decreases and in turn your blood pressure drops. Your blood then becomes thicker and stickier and will be harder to pump around your body. Your heart rate then has to increase to compensate. You'll actually stop sweating, making you even hotter while you continue to dehydrate. This scenario would see you dead within a few hours. Alternatively, in a cool environment with very little exertion, you could last around a week. But as a general rule of thumb, under more normal circumstances, a person could survive 3 to 4 days without water.
You can go 100 hours without drinking at an average temperature outdoors. If it's cooler, you can go a little longer. If you are exposed to direct sunlight, it's less.
Andreas Mijovic, however, beat this life expectancy by quite a stretch, when he was mistakenly locked in a police cell and forgotten about for 18 days. Although there is some controversy around this record, as it's alleged he survived by licking condensation off the cell walls.
Surviving without food, on the other hand, is quite a different matter.
That made me literally gag. That's disgusting. Ooh, I think I'm going to stop it here, and then maybe we'll do a part 2 later, just depending on how this is, or how the perception of you guys getting this in goes. So yeah, those are interesting limits of human survival. Gosh, I mean, I understand, like, you're literally back against the wall, like, you might die, so there's not much that you wouldn't do, but oh, that's awful. Even being cold. I hate being cold. I'm usually stay cold too, and I hate being cold. My house is cool, and I usually stay level. I mean, I've got a sweatshirt on right now, recording this video, so yeah, I couldn't imagine falling into freezing water for, what, just say like 18 minutes or something like that, or I don't even know what they said, but yeah. Anyways, guys, again, if this video does well, we'll do the part 2 of this video. If not, I'll see you guys on a different video. Usually this is a music reaction channel, but I'm wanting to branch out into other things just to keep things fresh and to get new viewers here and there. So more people to talk to is always fun to me. So yeah, anyways, guys, I'm ForeverAfterReacts, aka Nick, and hope you guys have a good day.